A police officer discovered a bag full of cash, but your name was stickered on it. And very soon, my darling child, something unimaginable has been found tonight. An old, dusty bag that had been discovered close to an abandoned railroad track was opened by a police officer who was well known for his quiet and strict demeanor. However, he was shocked to see your name plainly printed on a little golden label that was affixed to it after brushing away the dirt. For a time, he was stunned by what he saw. The bag was pristine, unopened, weighty, and filled with bundles of cash. It was almost too good to be true. However, your name was there, softly illuminated by the station light, as if it were waiting for him to see it at this precise moment. At that point, everything started to change. His pulse quickened. A tiny voice murmured in his ear as his radio abruptly lost connection. This bag belongs to someone chosen, someone who doesn't even know their life is about to change. The policeman was unaware that the voice was directing him to you. There is something enormous in store for you. Taking the bag, he drove into the night in silence. As his car approached your neighborhood, the city lights behind him became blurry. He had no idea why his hands were shaking or why your name kept coming back to him like a sign from God. All he knew was that he needed to deliver it before daybreak. There is something enormous in store for you. You may have experienced an inexplicable weight in your chest at that very moment, miles away. Perhaps you felt something nearby, something intended for you, as you looked around your room. The air's energy changed. The sound of the clock ticking increased. Your name vibrated across invisible wavelengths, feeling alive. Archangel Michael turned to face you at that moment. My child, destiny is moving faster than your fear. Don't look back, he murmured tenderly. The policeman pulled up at the side of your neighborhood and said, "Don't stop. The reward bearing your name has been released. Something huge is waiting for you." Something odd caught his attention. As if to let him know he was at the proper place, the street light above your house flickered twice before continuing to glow. He looked at the tag again. Your name was still shining brightly. With that enigmatic bag pressed to his chest, he inhaled deeply and went outside. There is something enormous in store for you. He once rang your doorbell, but he heard a slight mechanical hum coming from inside the bag before you could answer it. It wasn't the sound of paper or coins. It was the sound of vitality. Like a spiritual object wrapped in cash and tied to a mission you were selected to carry out. Fearfully, he nearly took a step back. However, the voice reappeared. The person who never gave up is the owner of this bag. The silent one who wept. The person whose blessings were postponed rather than refused. There is something enormous in store for you. He set the bag next to your door, glanced up at the sky, and whispered softly, "It's done." Then he turned and vanished into the night, leaving just the gentle glimmer of the street light in his wake. A few moments later, you opened the door, your pulse thumping as you fixed your gaze on that bag, which had your name written in gold and glowed slightly as though it were alive. There is something enormous in store for you. You paused for a moment. The wind changed. A subtle hint of sandalwood, an age-old indication of divine presence, wafted by you. You reached forward and touched the sack, your hands shaking. It was warm. It seemed to have been waiting for you specifically. There is something enormous in store for you. There was more than just cash in the sack. On paper, it was fate sealed. Every bundle had a vibration that matched your energy field, a message, and an invisible signature. It was simply concealed up until this point. It was never lost or stolen. There is something enormous in store for you. The universe moves its pieces silently, my child. Even lost treasures will find their way home when it is your turn, says Archangel Michael. The bag didn't appear by chance. It was the return of every act of kindness you once gave without expecting anything back. Something huge is waiting for you. The night grew still. The heavens had finally called your name aloud. Something enormous is waiting for you. Then your phone lit up. An unknown number flashed with a single text. You felt the warmth of tears in your eyes, not from fear, but from realization. Every rejection, every moment of doubt, every unseen prayer was now being answered through this silent delivery. You hesitated since you hadn't yet informed anybody what had happened, but when you opened the letter inside the bag, you discovered a sealed envelope wrapped in gold foil. It wasn't from me, it was from someone who had been keeping an eye on you. You opened the envelope slowly and found a small handwritten note inside. Every delay was divine. Your name was handwritten, and below it was a date, the exact day you had once sobbed and said, "I can't go on anymore." That was also the day heaven decided to send this back to you. Something huge is waiting for you. The signature below was unreadable, but the energy from the ink pulsed through your fingertips like an electric wave of hope. Something enormous is waiting for you. Just as you finished reading, your phone rang again, and this time, the same officer's voice came through, trembling. Every tear was counted. "Now it's your turn," he said. "I don't know what's in that bag, but after I left it there, a blinding light followed me all the way back to the station. I think you were meant to have it. Something huge is waiting for you." You stood there frozen, realizing this wasn't about luck, it was alignment. You didn't chase it, it found you. And the timing. Oh, the timing was sacred. The universe had waited for your heart to be ready before returning what was rightfully yours. Something enormous is waiting for you. Your whole life started to flash before your eyes, the sacrifices, the restless nights, the silent faith when no one believed in you, all of it had culminated in this one night. Something enormous is waiting for you. As the clock struck midnight, a faint blue light rose from the bag like mist, around you tenderly like an embrace, and the energy whispered through your chest. It appeared to be an ordinary moment, but it was meant to change everything. The next morning, newspapers would describe a mystery case, an officer bringing a bag that no longer existed, but by then, your world would have changed. Your benefits were never lost, merely postponed for divine timing. Something enormous is waiting for you. Something enormous is waiting for you, my dear child. You would have opened not only money but a door that heaven itself had sealed with your name. What happened next was beyond the officer's comprehension. After leaving your house that evening, he attempted to return to the station, but his car's engine would not start. The number 777 was printed faintly in one corner of that golden sticker bearing your name, and every light on his dashboard flickered in unison to form the same number repeatedly. He sat there in shock, realizing that this was no coincidence. the number was a divine mark, a code of completion, and a reminder that the person associated with that name was entering their destined chapter. He knew deep down that he was no longer merely a part of a police case. Rather, he was a part of a prophecy that was playing out in front of his eyes. Meanwhile, you were sitting quietly next to the bag inside your home, and the light in your room flickered between dimming and brightening, as if the universe was shifting its focus to you. When you looked closer, you saw a tiny envelope at the bottom of the bag that you had never opened before. It was thinner than the others and nearly undetectable beneath the piles of cash. That bag seemed alive now, with a heartbeat pulsating from within that perfectly matched yours. Something enormous is waiting for you. You took a deep breath and carefully opened the envelope, which had a single folded letter that said, "Look beneath the bag." The envelope had no name, no writing, just a fingerprint imprinted in silver ink, and when you removed it, a gentle shimmer of silver dust spilled across your fingertips, a sign of spiritual energy. Beneath what you were supposed to discover is the truth. Your heart hammered more forcefully than before, and you froze, gasping for air. A small black gadget with a red flashing light was taped to the bottom of the bag when you carefully lifted it. There is something enormous in store for you. When it flickered once and emitted a faint hologram, a gentle blue light shaped like a message, you initially believed it was something dangerous. The words materialized in midair. You're getting closer to something that's just for you. This money is not arbitrary. It's divine revenge. You were immobile. The light began to form patterns as it swirled about you. These symbols are an ancient seal of abundance and protection, the same one that Archangel Michael protects the chosen. The bag had been concealed for years, waiting for your vibration, time frame, and energy to align with its frequency. There is something enormous in store for you. It wasn't only an officer who discovered it. He was picked to provide what others were unable to pilfer. Before him, everyone who attempted to touch that sack lost something. Their careers fell apart. Because the energy contained within was unique to your soul, their paths were restricted. Your gut understands, even when you can't rationally explain it. You always had a secret feeling that something was lacking. Something strong but unseen. It's coming back tonight. The message, the light, and the bag were all timed by God. There is something enormous in store for you. When heaven marks a name, it cannot be erased by man. What belongs to you will circle the earth if necessary, but it will still find its way back into your hands. You weren't forgotten. You were being positioned. Every delay was heaven's redirection, explains Archangel Michael. A paper gently came out of one of the bundles, not a banknote but a document sealed with a silver thread with the header, "Confidential Asset Transfer." As morning drew near and the bag started to hum again, vibrating slightly as if opening a second layer. Your name. Something enormous is waiting for you, said the authorized recipient. Your initials, address, and an old date, the day you had once silently vowed to the universe that you would rise again no matter what, were listed on the document, and you blinked twice, hardly believing what you were seeing. The words beneath it read, "Funds restored, debts cleared." This was not a coincidence, it was divine precision. This is the time for you to heal. Your phone buzzed again as you held the paper close to your heart, tears welling up as the air around you became warmer, a sign of angelic presence. You realized that this was never about the money, but rather about the universe demonstrating that you were never invisible and that something enormous was waiting for you. The same officer's name appeared on the screen, but before you could respond, another call, from a private number this time, came in. You responded automatically, and a composed, assured voice stated, "Don't be afraid. Your confirmation is in the bag. We've kept note of your blessings. The time of your lack has come to an end." The line fell silent, but you could hear a faint humming in the background that sounded like a choir of light or a celestial frequency. You knew that this was confirmation that something enormous was waiting for you, and by dawn, odd things started to come together, including the clearing of your outstanding payment. The flow of abundance had resumed, the vibration was growing faster than you could imagine. You didn't chase it, you magnetized it. Something enormous was waiting for you. Old messages of apology started to arrive, and people who had previously blocked your energy began to feel the pull to reach out. Then came the last sign. While you were standing close to the window with that glowing message, you noticed that a police car was parked outside once more, and the same officer, this time without the uniform, stepped out. He appeared more composed, at ease, and almost lighter, as though his load had been lifted. He grinned slightly and carried a sealed package. He said, "I don't know who you are, but I was told to give you this." His voice faltered as he went on, "After I delivered that bag, my shift ended. However, before he left, my chief informed me of an odd development. Something huge is waiting for you." The file number on that case vanished from every record, as if it never existed. He handed you the envelope and took a step back. You carefully opened it, and inside was a certificate bearing an invisible seal that only glowed in the presence of light. It said, "Case closed, divine retrieval complete." A faintly shimmering signature beneath it briefly appeared to be Michael's name. You looked up to thank the officer, but he had already left and vanished into the morning mist. When you touched that bag one more time, it felt lighter, and you knew that the money wasn't the miracle. The air shimmered softly around you, and you recognized that this wasn't a human delivery but rather heavenly cooperation. Something enormous is waiting for you. The message said, "Now, pause here, close your eyes, take one deep breath, and whisper, 'I'm ready to receive.' This is because, my child, you are standing in the doorway of your restoration, and something enormous is waiting for you. The universe has just demonstrated that anything destined for you cannot miss you. Something enormous is waiting for you, my dear child." As the morning light touched your window, the outside world appeared normal, but your energy had changed forever. Stay until the very end because what follows will reveal where that bag actually came from and what secret connection ties your name to the officer who found it. Sitting quietly with that golden bag next to you, your fingers repeatedly tracing your name printed on it, you felt as though something was rearranging behind the scenes, like unseen hands changing timelines just for you. The sound of the birds outside seemed both louder and softer, as if they were also whispering your name. It felt like a heartbeat each time you touched it. It was steady, alive, and conscious. Then you saw something you had never seen before, a faint engraving on the zipper that was nearly invisible in the light. It was a word, return. Something enormous is waiting for you. You blinked and read it again. As soon as you said it out loud, the light inside the bag flickered, the air warmed, and the silence in your room deepened. Then, on its own, a small folded card slid out from under the bag. It was blank on one side, but when you turned it over, words slowly appeared in glowing ink. "This bag once belonged to someone who prayed for you," and you gasped. The energy of the note felt familiar, like a soul that never ceased watching you. Something enormous is waiting for you. 1,000 memories suddenly flooded your heart, someone from your past, perhaps long gone, who had quietly loved you and protected you even in silence. "My beloved, nothing truly lost ever leaves your orbit," declares Archangel Michael. You could practically feel his wings about your shoulders, steadying your breath and saying that you were safe to open the next portion of the truth. When heaven hides something, it's to return it in perfect time, multiplied. When you lifted the bag once more, you found another letter sealed in deep blue wax with the symbol of a small sword, the mark of divine protection. You opened it slowly, and the handwriting made your heart skip a beat. It was from someone you knew, someone who had once said, "When I rise, you rise, too." If you're reading this, it means the right officer found the bag and heaven allowed the circle to complete. "Something enormous is waiting for you," the letter said. "This money isn't for extravagance. It serves a purpose. You'll quickly see why your name was selected." Your phone buzzed once more as soon as you finished reading. The officer's number flashed one last time, but it wasn't him this time. A soft female voice replied, "My mission is done. The officer you're trying to reach no longer works here. He resigned last night and left no forwarding address." You stood motionless. There's something enormous waiting for you. The realization struck you like thunder wrapped in silence. That officer was more than just a man. He was a messenger, a vessel selected to return what had been taken, concealed, postponed, or rejected. His disappearance wasn't a conclusion, but rather a fulfillment. You turned to face the bag and saw that it contained more than just riches. It held a promise that had been fulfilled.